to this lesson where we're gonna start learning a new song in I Heard It Through the Grapevine. So this is still kind of a blues. So last time we played Money and we played in F. It was major chords, they could be dominant 7, but they were major chords, right? We had F, B flat and C, and we went between them, not exactly like a blues would, perhaps, but it was definitely sounding like a blues. And as a blanket scale over that, we used the F minor pentatonic, and we learned as well that that's what the singer was doing. So it's not just guitar players who only use one minor pentatonic blanket scale. Singers do it as well, so therefore it must be okay, right? Sax guys, trumpet guys, they're gonna be like, well, you gotta play over changes all the time, but you know, we got a big tradition in guitar with using that one blanket scale, so I don't think we should completely dismiss it. Funny thing with Grapevine is that it's still a blues. It still feels like a blues, I should say. And the reason for that is that it uses that language. You know, it's mainly minor pentatonic in the melody, and it's going between chord 1, 4, and 5, even though it's not doing it in the same way as we would expect. It's not a 12-bar blues, this. Okay, so let's for a moment think that it would be just a blues. Then the one chord will be an E flat major or an E flat dominant 7. Our 4 chord will be an A flat or an A flat dominant 7, and then we'll go back again, and then we go to B flat, okay? Now what they've done there in Grapevine, which is so clever I think, is that they've taken that first chord, which we use remember, a minor pentatonic as a blanket scale over. We bend that minor up towards the 3rd, yeah? That's our major 1 chord. Okay? Now what they've done in this song is that they've taken that first chord and they turn it into a minor. Incredibly rare. This is not a minor blues, right? In that way. Everything is structured as if it was in E flat major. It's just that that first chord is actually minor. Unbelievably rare, actually, but that's what's happening here, and this is a good way to look at it, because it's a blues in E flat. It's just that the chords kind of come in a not that expected order. So let's look at that. So we start off with an E flat minor, 2 bars of that, and then instead of going to go forward and back and then 5, we go straight to 5, and then we go to 4, and then we go back again. And we do the whole thing again. And that's the verse. Okay? The other unusual thing here, which is same as happened in You Can't Hurry Love, is that the last chord is early. So it comes in on the 4 rather than coming in its own bar. So the overall vibe here is that we want to play on the 2 and the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? But we want to put that A flat early. And it gives it a shift. So clever, so subtle, so brilliant. So, what do you want to do? You want to learn this song. You want to be free with it. You want to play it slightly differently every time. So how do you do that? Well, you learn it in each area of the neck. You learn how to play these chords in each area of the neck. And then you work out how to build little licks for each chord. So over the E flat minor, you got your minor pentatonic, right? We already established that worked as a blanket scale for the whole thing. So if now even the chord is minor now, clearly that's going to work. What is not going to work though is bending that minor 3rd. In the last lesson over Money, we were talking a lot about how you slide into the 5 from the flat 5, and then you take that minor 3rd and you bend it up, and that's the sound of the blues. You don't want to do that here. If you bend that minor 3rd up, you're just bending it out of tune because the chord is now minor. So slight modification there to your, if you were to solo over this, you don't want to be bending those minor thirds anymore. You can still do the flat 5, and you can slide into stuff. You could bend from the 9th up to the minor third, for example, but you don't want to bend from the minor third and up anymore, because that chord is now actually minor. So when we build stuff over this, we use the notes on the chord shape. We actually only play 2 notes from each chord shape in this song. Much harder than 3. And then we use notes from the pentatonic. So if we're on the E flat minor, that'll be the E flat minor pentatonic. If we're over the B flat, we play the B flat major pentatonic to create our licks. And because it could also be a dominant 7 chord, you can include that flat 7 interval. So I'll demonstrate that here. We're in B flat, that's an E shape. Here's our major pentatonic. The flat 7 is there. So we could include that. And that's when it starts to sound more bluesy, right? Rather than... doesn't sound bluesy at all. You know, sounds oriental. You could add that minor third to major third. Over that chord, right? And then we go down. So same rules as we have had throughout apply to this song as well. It's just that that first chord isn't major anymore. So don't bend that third. Right. I've written a bunch of examples here for you to get going. You should obviously come up with variations and even your own versions. You want to stick to playing on the 2 and the 4 because that's the job of the guitar player in this song. And you don't want to put too many of these licks in. Of course, when you're practicing it, put loads in just to see, to experiment with it, right? Find your favorites and that kind of stuff. But when you play the full song, you can't just put these in every other bar. That would be just be too intense. I'll probably end up doing that, saying that, because it's so tempting. But, when you listen back, you'll be like, oh yeah, that guy's overplaying a bit. So 2 and the 4, really, really important. That's the main thing. If you can keep that going and fit a lick into it and then come out of that and keep playing the 2 and the 4, brilliant. That's what you want to be doing. Right, so here are the examples. Here we go. Okay, so that was the 5 examples of how you could play the verse in different areas of the neck. You can slide in, you can hammer on, as long as you pick notes from the relevant scale. So the scale that belongs with the chord, and chord notes outside of it. So we're looking at the flat 7 here for each chord, basically. That's what you want to add, and each pentatonic. Okay, next time we are going to move on down the arrangement and look at the bridge, which is, again, really, really interesting. This is very clever stuff. So we're going to practice that in the same way all over the neck, and then we're going to continue with the chorus, and then we're going to put it all together. All right, I'll see you next time.